I've been crying for a little bit now, and
Omo, how many of you saw this? How many of you saw the broke down in tears of Maurice? As guys, you see this life. When I told tell you guys that this life is a lesson, you guys should not doubt. You guys should not doubt because guys, tell me why Maurice is just realizing. And you know when they say experience is the best teacher, this is actually, his own time I felt for him to know that he has learned the lesson of his life. Because guys, sometimes life teaches you gently. Sometimes it drags you, sometimes it embarrasses you publicly. Sometimes it, let you think you are right, only to later sit you down and say, you see this thing you were proud of. No try at all for this one. That's why this, Maurice Sam story hit differently. Because this one is not about romance alone. It's not about choosing this woman or that woman. It's about a man learning the hard way in front of everyone. Guys, let's just start from the beginning. When Maurice, first stepped into the spotlight of public love, everything looked sweet. Cameras, smiles, vacations, public declarations, soft caption, my woman, my peace kind of energy. And you know how social media is. Once people see consistency, they assume permanence. Once they see happiness, they assume certainty. But life doesn't work like that. What many people don't understand is that the hardest lesson don't come when you are when you are falling or when you are failing. They come when you think you are winning. Maurice looked like a man who had figured out, like career moving, love life loud, confidence high. But behind the scenes, there were cracks forming. Not because love wasn't there, but because experience, hadn't finished teaching yet. And this is where the lesson begins. You see, there is a difference between loving someone and being ready for what that love demands. There is a difference between passion and alignment. There is a difference between chemistry and compatibility. And most of us don't learn from, that from books. We learn it from mistakes. Painful ones, like the one that already cost you something. Morris' journey shows a man who had to confront himself not once, not twice, but repeatedly. A man who had asked himself questions nobody prepared you for. Am I choosing peace or pressure? Am I in love or am I trying to prove something? Am I listening to my heart or to the noise around me? These are the questions I think Maurice has asked himself lately. Because let's be honest, guys, public opinion can be intoxicating. When people clap for your relationship, you start, performing instead of living. You start protecting the image instead of protecting your sanity. And that's where many people get lost. There were moments when Maurice held on longer than he should have. Not because he didn't see any sign, but because letting go feels, like failure, especially when everyone is watching, especially when you've already spoken boldly, especially when, pride is involved. And here's the truth nobody likes to admit. Walking away can be the most, mature decision you ever make. Growth is not loud, growth is not glamorous. Growth often looks like confusion because, people don't see it from the way you are seeing it. At some point, Maurice had to sit with the consequences of his choice, not the internet opinion, not fans' expectation, his own reality. And that's where pain becomes a teacher. Because pain has a way of stripping every excuses. You start seeing patterns you ignored before. You start noticing red flag you once called love. You start realizing that not every strong emotion is meant to live, into a lifetime decision. And that's wisdom. But wisdom that comes at a cost. This is why I keep saying wisdom is earned, not given. Nobody could have told Maurice this story in advance. Even if they did, he wouldn't have understood it the same way. Because some lessons must be lived to be believed. And let me say this clearly, guys. Learning the hard way doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are human. What matters is what you do after the lesson. Do you repeat the cycle or do you pause, reflect, and change? Guys, Maurice's journey shows a man learning to slow down, learning to listen more, learning that love should bring peace, not anxiety, that your partner should feel like home, not a battlefield, that the right relationship won't require you to explain yourself every day. And that's a powerful realization, because when a man reaches that point, he understands change. His priority shifts. He stops chasing noise and starts, choosing stability. He stops confusing excitement with destiny. And trust me, guys, that shift doesn't come without scars. There were tears, there were confusion, there was self doubt, there were moments of silence where he probably asked himself, how did I get here? But those moments are sacred. Those are the moments where boys become men, where ego dies and understanding is born, where you stop blaming others and start taking responsibility. And that's why this gist is bigger than Maurice Sam. It's actually for anyone who has, ever stayed too long because they were afraid of starting over. For anyone who ignored their institution because love felt intense. For anyone who learned painfully that not everyone you love is meant to stay. Growth doesn't come from comfort, it comes from confrontation. And sometimes life will embarrass you just enough to humble you. What I respect about this journey is not perfection, it's awareness. It's the quiet maturity that comes after the storm. The realization that being right is less important than being at peace. If you ever learn the hard way, this story is your mirror, because at the end of the day, the lesson is simple but deep. Failure is not the opposite of growth. Failure is often the doorway to it. And if Maurice Ham's journey teaches you anything, it's this: don't rush the lesson. Don't run from the pain. Let it shape you. Let it shape in your discernment. Let it teach you when you truly deserve. Because the best version of you is often born from the hardest chapter of your life. And sometimes you have to lose your way to finally find yourself. So guys, let me just know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think that all these things happening now, that Maurice deserve it? Him losing Sonia and regretting his actions, moments that he never valued her and everything. Let me just know your humble thoughts in the comment section. And if you've watched up to this point, you've not subscribed to the channel, please kindly do so that I continue getting hot juicy gist just like this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you my guys in my next video. Bye for now.